we go.
How's your back doing?
Oh, it's much better. So I officially started working out again last night. I mean, I've been walking a lot and I did some biking, but last night I started my, daily workout and it went fine and my back is good and it was a really good thing to do, except that I'm extremely stiff today. Extremely stiff. So I'll just have to get back into it, but I think I'm going to be fine. Thank you. Okay, so we're not going to go faster. We're not going to kind of worry about the rhythm. We're just going to play the pattern, all right? Here we go. Ready? And... So at the end there, I just play an A, B, A, because I don't have an extra string. So instead of the note below, so, that's what I'm doing there. And it might help your ear to resolve it and finish it out. It's a little bit better, okay? Anyway, so how'd that go for everybody? Did anybody struggle with that, or do you think we can go faster? Faster? Yay! A 1, 2, 3. Now how'd that go for everybody? Anybody have any trouble? Think you could try going a tiny bit faster? Now did you hear me start to introduce the jig rhythm there? A little bit. Just starting to extend that bow, starting to feel the swing, a little bit of momentum there, okay? So if we pick it up a tiny bit, maybe you could have a crack at it, okay? And then we'll talk about it and I will judge your frustration levels on your faces. Okay. Okay, so let's see. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Ready? Go! Yeah, working pretty good. Now the bows looked pretty good there. How do people feel? Does anybody want to try playing it for me? That's what I'd love to hear. Should we practice it a couple times first? Yeah. So let's loop it. Let's do it, say, we'll do the whole thing twice. Okay? At that speed. I might push you a little bit the second time. I'll just try to look at the bows and see how we're doing, okay? So we're going to do twice. This is the long haul jig, okay? Ready, 2, 3, go, 2, 3. Okay, now everybody hung in there. Did you start to hear, like, so when I pushed it a little bit, the jig rhythm got stronger, eh? Did you notice that? And it's kind of like the accented notes got louder, and the other ones got a little bit more shorter and more staccato. Did you notice that? That's what I noticed as the swing started to come in, and I was listening to my arm, and that's what was going on. So it was kind of more like yumpity dumpity 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 dumpity, more like that. Okay, and we were getting faster and faster. Now, anybody want to give it a go for me? You don't have to do the whole thing, just a bit of it. I just want to hear how it's coming along from somebody. How about you, Pearl? You look itching to go. And then after you, Bev. And then that gets the ball rolling.
I usually mess up near the top, like I'll forget a note, but
Okay.
It's easier to play when you can hear someone else do it.
I know.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's now okay. Now, can I say a couple things there? Because I got to tell you that your first crack at that, I thought the rhythm was quite good. Like the jig rhythm was there. Now you might have got a little bit had a few what they say in Ireland called staggers. You had a few staggers there, and it's no big deal. It's just you got to get more used to the pattern. But your first couple of cracks had a good rhythmic pattern. Your third one there, the rhythm kind of went out, but you had a lot more success with your left hand. Okay? So that tells me that the right arm thing is going to work, especially if it's something you're really familiar with. Okay? So the more familiar you get with this pattern, I think it's really going to work for you. All right? But it's okay to go back to straight if you need to work out the pattern. Just straight. It's a good way to do it. Just, go through it that way and then put it on autopilot and see what happens, because I thought that was pretty nice. All right?
The thing when I play fiddle is like if I play the rhythm right, I mess up the notes, and then if I play the notes right, I mess up the rhythm.
Well, remember one thing: some of the best music I've played is when I mess up the notes. It's really fun sometimes, so don't worry about it. Okay, Bev, how about you? You want to give it a crack?
Okay.
Not bad, not bad. Now, first of all, how did you feel about that?
Well, I didn't think the rhythm was quite right. And I think the up bows were a bit, I don't know, it's easier to do on the down bow than on the up bow.
Oh, it sure is, that's for sure. Now, I thought that you were doing the mechanics of it quite well. You were going to the end of the bow, going to the other end of the bow. But I wonder about you kind of trying to get to the end of the bow, rather than kind of like lengthening, try to just swing your arm down like you were chopping the damn thing in half. You want to try that a little bit?
Okay, here we go.
Okay. Hey, did you notice how that got a little better when I started to do this?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a swing. You're not muscling it all. You're letting it all happen. So
Yeah.
that got a little bit better towards the end there when you loosened up.
Right.
Okay? Loosey goosey. Loosey goosey. Anybody else want to try it for me? Or we'll just drill it again? You know, I'm good with that. I don't mind. I'll play it 1,000 times, but I love to hear and see how people are getting along. Anybody else want to give it a crack?
I'll try,
Yes.
but it's going to be a little slow.
That's fine. Fine, fine, fine.
Here we go. Oops. I'm getting mixed up. Okay, I'll leave it there.
Okay, so first of all, when you started off, and I've seen this a lot too, when people are starting to get it, is you started off really good. As you went along, it got stiffer. It's a backsliding thing. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
It's totally normal. One good thing to do though, if you do feel yourself stiffening up, like remember guys, you don't have to finish this pattern. You know, you can start it and end it whenever you want. It's just an exercise. So if you find yourself stiffening up, you just stop, do it again. Fresh arms, do it again.
Yeah.
You know, and repeat it. It's gonna, because that first attempt was quite nice and it lasted for about an octave. You know what I mean? Before it started to. Now I'll tell you, with you and with Pearl, with the fourth finger business, I did notice that when it was time to use the fourth finger is when the rhythm got a little bogged down. So you might consider, you know, the easy way out, but that's up to you. Okay,
He'll yell at
anybody?
me for that tonight, and tomorrow he'll yell at me for
Yeah,
not.
I know, but I would never yell at anybody. Are you kidding
Well,
me?
you know what I mean.
No, I would never yell.
I don't.
Anybody else? Anybody else want to try it, or should we just grind away at it? Okay, grindy. Put on your safety goggles. All right, I think that speed was good. So I'll loop it twice again. Ready, and... Okay, well, you know, and I thought people hung in quite nicely, and jumping in and out of the skipping rope is totally fine, you know, no problem at all. So just keep at trying to do that. And what I forgot to do at the beginning, which would have been really helpful, is the whole just double stop thing. Why don't we do a bit of that right now, okay? It really does help. Just on a double stop or on just a single string, whichever way you want to do it. One. Oh, I gotta wipe off my fiddle. That's right. Oh, sorry. Ooh, sorry about that. That's better. 1, 2, 3, and... Okay, good good looking bows, really, you know. And I saw people gradually get better for the most part while we were doing that. One thing I was talking about with the orchestra there last night is that, you know, you have the jig rhythm has two parts, the downity and the uppity, right? And as Bev mentioned earlier, the downity is way easier than the uppity. The downity has the gravity going with you, so all you have to do is drop your arm and you get a great big nice accent. You use your whole bow, it's really easy. But the uppity one, you have to chuck the bow up in the air like that. Still in contact with the string as much as you can. And then you get to this part here where you do the little jog, right? And the momentum dies off, because when I do my downity, my hand will bounce for me at the bottom. See that? That didn't move a muscle there. Just my... There we go. That's my downity. The uppity doesn't have that. It just stops. See that? So I have to create another little nudge to get the last note. So I basically keep my arm going the whole time. See that? That's how I do that. So you got the downity and the uppity. And the uppity is a lot harder, like for most people. It's hard to move the bow straight going up, for instance. It goes kind of like this all the time, you know? So you have to kind of have a nice, smooth Mr. Miyagi paintbrush there to be able to chuck the bow up, chuck her up there with your fingers. All right, let's try a little bit more on the double stop. 1, 2, 3. Okay, very, very good. Now that was even better, for sure, the way it looked anyway. Okay, now let's try our scale pattern one more time in the key of G. And just the one time this time, and I might push you a little bit in the middle. You'll see we'll see how it goes. And then we're going to take the jig and see if we can make it happen on the jig, whatever jig it is we were trying to make it happen on. Okay? So let's try that G major one more time. And then we'll do that. Ready, and... Okay, that looked like it went pretty good. Still getting a little bit, a few staggers there, Deborah. Oh, the fourth finger, yeah. I mean, the thing is that it's usually like the last one to come into the left hand anyway. Like even, you know, for the classical player or whatever, it's always the last one to get really good and strong, right? Anyway, so once you get it good and strong, it might not slow you down. You know what I mean?
What's slowing me down is because I'm not playing the fourth finger. Now I have to go to the other bow and come back. At least
String
on the
crossing.
fourth finger, I'm not having to come back.
String crossing, yes, it is true. It presents a problem with string crossing, which is why sometimes, depending on the tune, I do a little, you know, I use the fourth finger because of that reason, just because of that reason.
Well, it's just I practice the pattern that way. I
Oh,
can
yeah.
undo it. I just need to practice the pattern without doing it.
You know what? People sometimes say undo, but I never want to say undo because now you'll just have both. Okay? Right on. Any other questions or comments about that before we try sticking it into a jig? Anything at all? Anybody having trouble with any of the aspects there? Yes?
I'm not having trouble, but I completely let go of doing the fourth finger. I was just like, it's not working. I'm getting confused. I'm trying to do the first. Why not just stop? So I just stopped, and I just told myself, hey, don't bother.
And how'd it go after that?
A lot better.
Really?
Yeah, the notes are just clicking more, and I don't know. You'd think it'd be harder with the string crossing. But
Yeah.
my brain was tricking myself.
Yeah, the other good thing about that, though, that I forgot to mention about the string crossing thing is that how much string crossing do we have to do in Irish and Scottish fiddle? Tons of string crossing. So good to get good at it as well, you know? Anyway, all that being said, now I'm jazzed up again. One more time, and then we're going to stick it into the jig. Okay, there we go. 1, 2, 3, and... Okay, now the jig that we're putting it into, I think, is the Mug of Brown Ale. Is it, or which one were we using to get it working? Anybody remember?
Moher.
What's that?
I think it was Cliffs of Moher because it was the.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Perfect. That's a great one to do it on, actually. It's big run of 8th notes. Okay, so shall we give it a go then? I think maybe the best way to approach it would be to play the whole tune from one end to the other, whether you can manage the jig rhythm or not. Just play the whole tune. I'll be nice and easy on the pace there. And then the second time, I'm going to just pick it up a tiny bit, and I'm going to belt that jig rhythm out like crazy. And that's your chance to try to have a crack at it if you can. Okay?
So we're doing the mug?
No, we're doing the cliffs.
Cliffs, okay.
The cliffs. The foggy cliffs of Moher. All right. Okay, here we go. Ready, 2, 3, and... One more. Woo-hoo! I had a good time anyway. Okay, so how does everybody feel? And now I was watching bows as close as I could, you know, best I could. And I did see some jig rhythm action happening. I wouldn't say that it's completely consistent. I think that it kind of comes and goes. for most of you guys which is kind of the way a groove comes in. I've never heard anybody say anything different. You just got to let it happen when it happens, and you start to gain more control and be able to make it happen all the time. Okay, did anybody feel like that's what was going on a little bit? Like sometimes it was working, other times it wasn't while you were doing that?
Yeah, I'd say exactly that. Like, first I have to keep thinking about the speed to keep up, but then the rhythm. So
Yeah.
everything sort of comes and goes. Eventually it'll come together.
Did it come together at all?
A little bit, yeah.
Oh, good. Okay,
Yeah.
that's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good. So it sounds like you're on the right track. Anybody else have anything to share about that experience of doing that? How about you, Pearl?
I'm used to playing jig rhythm really, really quickly with a lot of jigs, so it's kind of hard for me to like slow it down.
Oh, man, you make a very good point. That's, yeah, like, and the grooves, any of those type of grooves, you know, it's actually harder to do slow than fast, just like a dancer. That's the whole thing, because it's dance music. So a dancer has this serious problem where, like, they always say dancers have two speeds, too slow, which is most of the time, or too fast. And because if it's too slow, it's so much more effort. You have to hold your foot up in the air longer. It takes you more time to do a jump, much harder. But I'll tell you, if you practice it at this tempo and broaden that bow, when you go quicker, you're going to produce, like, I don't know, 30% more sound. With that bigger bow, fatter sound from your bow, broad, lots of length, you know. And that's what you practice when you're going, so that's what you have a chance to practice, right? So then when we start going fast, you're going to end up using more bow just as a result. And it'll be strength. Because you know about that already, right? Okay, good. Anybody else? Anything to add or share?
I'm having a hard enough time just keeping up with pace, never mind thinking of the pace.
I know. It'll salt up. Now, are you managing to get through it there, Melanie, at that speed?
Just.
Oh, that's good, though. That's really good. Glad to hear that. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Anybody else? Yes, Deborah?
Yeah, so I just feel like the first one you went to, I felt like I had a chance to at least practice at the speed and think about the rhythm. But then when you sped it up, I'm trying to think of both, and then I just fell apart because I couldn't both at the same time. But the first time you did it at a slower speed, I felt like I felt like I started fine, and I felt like I could correct myself, but not when you went faster.
Okay, now let me see what that might have been so I can remember. Because we're going to do it again. We'll do exactly the same
Yeah, but
setup.
that might just be me. Maybe not everybody else.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like I said, like the slower you can practice these grooves, the better, because you end up being able to do more bow and more movement when you do end up going faster. Okay, so it's okay. It's still a good idea. Now let me see if I can remember. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. It's about the 80 mark, the magic number for jigs, you know, on the slow side, but not a crawl. Okay, so that's what we'll try it at. We'll try it at the 81 or 82 or whatever. And then I'll push it a tiny bit. And I'll try not to push it too much. I'll just put a little tiny heat on you. Okay? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and... looked like a good finish. Right on, everyone. All right. Well, get your breath after that. That was quite a few goes there. But yeah, the bows looked pretty good that time. Now, the difference that time was that I did it slow twice and then pushed on the third time. And I wonder if that might have made a difference. You know, a little bit more time to settle in. Okay? Yeah. Anybody have anything to add before we move on? We'll have to think of another jig to do it on. We'll stick with this one as well, but think of one that, any suggestions, any requests, like a jig that somebody knows really well or thinks that everybody might know really well that they want to try this jig rhythm on that you've played for ages? What's that, Pearl?
What about Swallowtail?
Yes, that's what I was gonna.
Oh, Swallowtail. Perfect. Now, who knows Swallowtail? Who does not know Swallowtail? Everybody does know Swallowtail? You do not know Swallowtail Soup. Okay. Let's see here. I will send you a copy right now. It's very easy tune. It's a great tune. I love it. I've been playing it since I can remember. It was one of the first tunes I learned. Let's see here. Swallowtail. My God, I've taught this tune so many times. I can't even tell you how many times I've taught this tune.
It might be, we all might have a different version though.
I'm sending everybody the same version right now.
Okay.
Because I found one on the session that is kind of pretty good for the practice aspect, you know? Okay, let's see. Okay, that lines up here.
Is it coming in the chat or email?
I'll do both. Okay, Swallowtail. And now I have to do this.
Oh, and Dover Lads is another one.
Oh, that's a great one, and it's a long one. It gives you a nice long go at the jig rhythm, and it's a great tune for sure. Okay, everybody, I've just sent you the Swallowtail jig. And we're gonna have a crack at it. Sue Leader, you can just kind of read it. We'll go real slow. It's really easy. Don't worry, you'll get it. And the Drover Lads we could do another time. But first of all, let me just play you the Swallowtail jig with all that jig bowing in there, so you can kind of get it ringing around your head before we start. Okay. That's her. Good old Swallowtail. Can't beat it with a stick, you know. It's still around after all these, I don't even know, probably out of 500 years or something like that. Isn't that amazing? Some of these tunes. Like the tune we're putting on the record there, Brian Boru's March, that's from 1050 AD, which is incredible. I just love that. Okay. Yeah.
The one that I have has sharps, a lot of sharps where,
The one I sent?
no, the one that I've got is also in D,
Well, it's not
No, it's
actually in D though. It's
No, it's not. It's an E
it's
minor, right?
E minor. Yeah, it's a modal tune, so it's E minor with a C sharp. I think that might be Mixolydian mode. I'm not sure. I'm terrible with my modes. I can ask my wife if you really need to know, but it's basically E minor with a C sharp. You see it all the time. There's so many of them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm just looking at the one I pulled up. It's very similar to the one I played, which is good. And very simple tune. Okay? So let's just go really slow. Sue Leader, good luck, man, reading. It's mostly 3s and 1s, and then 2s and opens. Just kind of go with that. Okay? So let's play it nice and slow for Sue's benefit there, guys, and also for your jig rhythm efforts and attempts. Okay? Ready, 2, 3. Little faster. All right, looking good, looking good. Nice long bows there. How did you do, Sue? Did you get through it okay? Okay, good. Very good, very good. Now, what are the chances that we can play this a bit faster and put a bit of a swing to it, as they say in West Ireland? They put an SH on every S word there is. Has to have an SH on it for some reason. Anyway, so why don't we give that a little crack, okay? We're going to try a little faster and try to get some of that swing in there. Oh, God. All right. 1, 2, 3. encouraged by that. Okay, so what are people's thoughts about the faster tempo and the jig rhythm?
I just found that with those quarter notes, like not tied together, I found threw me off from the rhythm.
Yes, I know they're a pain. So what now? The nice thing about the way they're set up in this tune, this is not the way that I played it growing up. Now I will tell you that when you're talking about the second part of this tune, there are a lot of ways that people play the second part of this tune. This way that you're looking at here is a very, very common way that you hear it at a session or whatever. But people have different ideas about the long note. In my opinion, the only long E that you have to have in that first phrase is that first E. Di-ba-dee-di-dee. And then after that I play E, F, E, E. I don't play that other long E. Okay? Yeah, I play E, F, E instead of that figure. Okay? Now that's the way I did it growing up. And then da pa da da be da da pa da da. The same thing with the next time that you see it. We used to do that as well there. Okay. And then again, just like in the opening bar of the second line, I leave that long E. I think that's the kind of, in the melody, the original melody, I think that is a long note, you know, because that doesn't seem to vary from version to version. Everybody plays that one long. But then again, I play E, F, E, E, D, B in the next bar. I don't play that another long E. So if you wanted a way to do it where you get more of a crack at the jig bowing, that would be a good way to do it. Okay, but like I said, this is good practice, and sometimes it's good to be, sometimes you can be grateful for the break from the jig bowing with those long notes as well, so you can take the little break there too. And like I said, it's a common way to do it, so it's just if you want the added challenge, you know what I mean? But you're right, when you have to play the long notes, it's kind of like, oh man, because your arm gets into a nice thing and you just want to let it go, But then when you run into those quarter note followed by an eighth note things, if there's just one of them at the latter part of the bar, I usually slur it in the up bow. Da-ka-dee-da-da-dum, and then I'm back to my nice jig rhythm. See that? So that's for if we do a jig that has that. But anyway, shall we give it another anybody else? Any comments, queries, questions, concerns, triumphs? No?
And can I see you do it with the jig? Like the bow? Because, I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't think I'm doing any jigging. I think I'm just bowing.
That's okay. It comes in a little bit at a time, but you want to see me doing it again?
I just, at least a couple lines, just
No
to
problem.
get the idea.
Yep. See, I just did that up bow slur. Do you see that? So that's another way to deal with those figures you were talking about there, Deb. They do interrupt, but, it's all part of the music. Imagine if they were all eighth notes. That would be a bit much, don't you think? Okay, so shall we try it again? Let's do it again. We'll do it a little bit faster. Well, we'll do a little easy first, and then the second time we'll go a little faster, and then we'll move on to reels. Okay? Okay. 1, 2, 3. with some motor. Sorry to spring it on you, but I thought the arms were looking so good. Everybody was going along so good that, I sprung it on you. So, how did it go? How did everybody feel? No, Deborah, you're shaking your head. You look pretty confident there especially during the swallowtail. It looked pretty cheerfully kind of going. Yeah, okay, well, we'll get there. Anybody else feeling okay? Yeah? That's good.
Yeah, I find I'm starting to get the rhythm, and if I lose my fingering, I actually just try to keep the arm movement going until I can sort of catch up with the
That
notes.
is great. That's going to work. Keep doing that. That's a really good idea. Cool. Anything else about that? I don't want to beat a dead horse. So anything else that you want to try with the jig rhythm or ask me about before we move on to the more complicated real rhythm? No? Okay, here we go. So, the way that we belt out a backbeat in a tune is with our bowing. Again, same thing. Now, listen, guys, I got to grab some more water. I will be right back. Take a little breather. We're going to be doing that Made Behind the Bar, and I'm going to get a good shot of it so I can write out the bowing. Be right back.
I think I'm starting to get that jig beat there, huh? I sacrifice tone for a beat. Oh, how's that?
Okay, so first of all, the first thing we'll do is we'll play the Made Behind the Bar with the heavy backbeat there, just so we get the idea of what we are playing and what we are doing. hearing that? Did you hear the backbeat kind of belting out as I was playing that reel? Yeah. And what I was doing was a combination of the long bow style, which is where you slur, make these big up bow slurs, everything in the up bow except the 2 and the 4, and doing it single bowed, where you kind of belt out the accents kind of like this, like that. See that? So we're going to do both. Now I find, of course, the best way to get it going is to first do it on the open strings, and then do it in one of these scale patterns. And then once we do that, we're going to try to put it onto the Made Behind the Bar, okay, which is a great tune. Anybody already play the Made Behind the Bar? No? Oh, it's a wicked tune, and it's like, you know, first you got to learn Morrison's Jig, and then second you got to learn Made Behind the Bar. That's kind of the way it goes. And we play, everybody plays it. I played it growing up in Cape Breton, and they played it in Ireland. They played it here in the Ontario people. So it's a good one to have under your belt, okay? So first of all...
I was playing the bar behind the maids.
Yeah, I know. I saw that title. I was like, wow, that's somebody's very, very funny idea.
So we'll need the music for the other one.
Yeah, I have it here, and I'm going to show you how I mark it up with the bowing and then send it to you.
Thanks.
Okay, so first of all, though, let's see how to make a backbeat, okay? Now, I'm going to back up so you can kind of see my knee, because my foot's kind of important when I do the backbeat, okay? And you'll see what I mean. So first of all, I'm going to show you how I do it just on my double stop. The Made Behind the Bar is in D, so I'm going to use the D and the A. And I'm going to show you this kind of little move I do here. So it's... See that? And that's how you kind of get a backbeat going with a single bowed approach, all right? And when I say single bowed, I mean down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, no slurring. Just a single bow, one bow per note, okay? And now do you hear how I'm putting the accent in there? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... One thing to note is that all the accents are on down bows there, each one. And then you have a little hop up to get back up without making too much noise so that it doesn't also come out accented. Okay? So let's just try that together. It's going to be down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, like that. Okay? Let's go nice and easy. And it's best to do it in the fiddling sweet spot, the upper third of the bow. Okay? 1, 2, 3, and... Okay. Now everybody looked like they were doing the mechanics of that bowing pretty without any problem at all, really. I saw everybody moving right down to the end for the accented one and then doing little bows. Now you'll notice if any of you guys have been doing any work on using just your hand to bow, which we did in the jig rhythm, but also in general, you know, this is a great way to work on it because look, check this out. It's hand, hand, arm, and then an arm that you're trying to be very gentle, and then hand. See that? So hand, hand, arm, hand, 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 arm, hand, 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 arm. That's what you're doing. And when I do those down bows, I chuck them away. I'm like just letting it belt down like that to belt out that accent. Okay? Let's try it again. A 1, 2, and here we go. okay. I pushed you hard enough. So that looked really good. I thought it was going quite well. How does everybody feel about how that sounds? I should say before I ask you that, you might find that it be a bit honky and squeaky, maybe a little scrapey here and there. Don't worry about that. You guys know how to clean up your sound, how to adjust and make sure you're not digging in too much or not enough as you do that, okay? So let that happen a little bit at first. The rhythm is more important and we'll clean up the sound. But other than that, how did it feel? Anybody have anything they want to share about how that went? Isparol.
It got easier as you got faster.
It's another thing like dribbling the basketball. Yes, it actually gets easier as you go faster. But when we do it slow, work on two things. Work on belting, okay? Because that's one thing I get some classical violinists to do to try to get out of the violining of tunes is to just drop that bow down onto the strings. Have you ever tried doing that? Yeah? You could all try. Why not? So here's what I do. I get them to take the bow like this and just drop it down on the strings and see if you can get a decent sound. Now, before you try it, let me show you what a decent sound sounds like when you do this. And you want, we're fiddle players, so we want a little bit of that chirp, but not too much so that it squeaks, okay? I'm going to do it again. Yeah, now that looks like some good bouncing. Now when I do it with those classical violinists I was talking about, they usually do this first. And I say, no, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about hammering it, And so remember to do that when you're trying to bounce the bow like that. Then, when you go to do your rhythm, you see how that's kind of like what we just did there. That sharp down bow is kind of like dropping the bow. Oh, that was a good one. You hear that? Belt it out real nice. That's how you get the good strong accent pattern. Okay? So let's try the accent pattern once more on the open strings. And then I'm gonna show you how to do it in the scale. Okay. 1, 2, 3, and. Okay, cool. All right. Everybody feeling that? Bows look like they were doing pretty good. All right. Now that's the open string. Now we got to add the left hand. Okay. Melanie, you have a question?
My wrist isn't that flexible. Like I know it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing.
Oh, I know. It's a classic problem for sure. Now, if you were here with me in person, right, and we were working on that, first of all, we'd be going slow. And I would sit here with my bow, okay? And I would keep my bow in and around your wrist. Now, I don't go so far as to poke people. And luckily, I don't actually ever have to. I've never actually had to poke anybody. I always find it an amazing thing. Even though the people can't see me, and they can't see the bow coming, all I have to do is get within about this far of their wrist, and they instantly stop moving their wrists and start doing it like that. For some reason, it seems to work. They don't have to actually touch it. I just have to be there like this, And that's what I would do in person. Now, with some people, getting the down bow work, using the wrist to do the down bow, that's one thing. But the up bow is a lot harder. And many people, they do the down bow, but then the up bow looks more like this. And if you were doing that in our rhythm, you'd work your way right off the bow, which is a complaint that I get a lot, that you're working your way off the bow. So for some people that can't get the up bow thing happening, I have to use two bows. So I grab my dad's bow, and I go like this, and I try to get around that wrist again to get that kind of flexibility happening, okay? And usually I do that with people in the hand, arm exercise. So I'm very fast and I have good timing because I was a drummer. So I have the bows there and they go hand, and then I go arm, hand, and nobody's been hurt yet. It's working out really well, but there's a pandemic now, so I can't do it. And that's why I got this here. This is my doorway. This is how I show people you can use the doorway to do the same thing, okay? Anyway, one more. Oh, no, we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to do the scale now. So when we're talking about the scale, I did this again in G major to give you a long crack at it. And here's what it's going to look like. So first of all, we play this little pattern on the first note of the scale. See that? And then we're going to play the exact same pattern starting on the second note of the scale. See that? And then the same on the next one. Okay, and then the next one. See that? And then we keep going. That's the way up. Okay? Now, a few people were getting that already. Let's go nice and slow, and I'm going to call out some numbers so that people can get a good crack at actually being able to do it. Nice and slow, and the people that can do it, work on that big down bow. Okay. Ready, and so, open, 1, 2, open. 1, 2, 3, 1. 2, 3, D, G2, 3, D, 1, G3, D, 1, 2, open, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, A, D2, 3, A, 1, D3, A, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, E, A2, 3, E, 1, A3, E, 1, 2, E, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay, that's the way up. How did everybody do there? Looked really good. Fingers and bows were moving good. Okay, now way down. That's the first little pattern there. 2, 1, open 2, and then we go one note down. Okay, and then we keep going down. So let's go real nice and slow, and I'll call out the numbers again. E2 to start off with. Ready, and 2, 1, E2, 1. E, A3, E1, E, A3, 2, E, 3, 2, 1, 3, 3, 2, 1, open, 2, 1, open, D3, A1, A, D3, 2, open A, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, open, 2, 1, open, G3, D1, open, G3, 2, open, D, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, open, 2, 1, open, 1, that's another workaround that I have to do at the bottom because we don't have another string. All right, now that looked like it went quite well too. And I have to say I'm very impressed with myself that I can say all those numbers while I'm playing. I can't believe I got through it without screwing anything up. Like, wow. That's I'm going to have to make a skill of that. My friend Patrick Orso keeps talking about how much he'd love to be able to say bowings while he's playing. And while he's showing somebody a tune. It's his dream is to be able to go up, up, down, up, 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 down, up, down while he's playing. Which I think would be very handy. It would be amazing. But anyway. Okay. Any thoughts or comments about that before we try the whole thing and maybe just a touch faster? Do you think you got the pattern? Do you think you know how to do it so that we can get up and down? Medium? Okay, well, we'll go with medium. Let's try it. Let's try it at medium then. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, and. Okay, down we go. Ready, and. Okay, that looked really good, really good. We'll try it a little bit faster and see if we can get this accent pattern in there, which is going to be down, up, down, okay? And that's what I want you to concentrate on, just that opening phrase, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, okay? Let's give it a go and see what happens. What's the worst that can happen, right? Ready, 2, 3, and... it seemed to be looking great anyway. The fingers I could see and the bows were moving quite well. And I did see some attempts at that big giant down bow. Now the tendency with the single bowed approach to doing that backbeat pattern is to just kind of after a while flatten everything out, you know, and then it's all just kind of even. And so that's what you want to avoid. That's what you want to try to get that big backbeat in there, okay? Now, I had grand plans tonight to go through this one, go through the Irish style bowing, and then the alternating, and then put it in the tune, but I don't think we're going to get that far tonight. So I think what we should do is kind of concentrate on this single bowed approach tonight, see if we can get it going a little bit faster, and then I'll demonstrate the long bowed approach when we're all done that, so you can see how it works, okay? Give you a little bit of a head start on us doing it next week, all right? So anyway, any questions about doing that pattern? Like, it didn't seem like anybody was actually having trouble with the fingers, like with the pattern itself. Everybody being able to get through that pretty well without too many stumbles?
Just when I'm coming down, I lose my place.
Easier to lose your place on the way down, for sure. I found it much harder to call out the letters and numbers on the way down, for instance. A lot more complicated, more string crossing and stuff like that. Yeah. Okay, anybody else? Anything to add? Or should we just try it again? Yeah.
Good night. I have to go.
Oh, okay. Good night, Deborah. Thanks, man.
See you this week. Okay, bye, everybody.
Okay,
Have a good week.
see ya.
Bye.
All right, then. Here we go. So we'll start it at that tempo, and you never know what might happen. A 1, 2, 3, and... Looking good, looking good. Okay, we'll try it a little bit faster then, I'd say. Just a touch. Okay. 1, 2, 3, and... Looking good, looking good. Take a little breather. We're going to go a little faster. One more go. And then I think I can show you in the Made Behind the Bar, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mark in the accents. Okay, because we're just going straight up and down. But those accents are going to make it different to show you where they are and where they lie in the tune. And then when we go to change the bowing, you'll see exactly what we're going to be doing. Okay, so one more go. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and... Yeah, okay. Had a few casualties, but I thought it was worth the effort, you know? Okay, now. First of all, I'm going to mark in some accents on this music here, the Made Behind the Bar, using my wife's pen, which I will remember to put back, or else I will really remember, and she'll make sure I remember from now on. Okay, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay. Okay. Now, I've just written them into the very first part of the tune because it's a pattern. It's the same way right throughout the whole tune. And it'd be good if you could kind of see how that fits in. Okay. Airdrop it. I'll just email it right from here. So that is okay. Made with the accents. Okay, so I've just sent everybody a copy of the Made Behind the Bar with the accents marked in. Okay, and so as you can see there, I'll just open it up to share my screen. Okay, I gotta get this going here. Email. Send. Okay, where was that I just sent? There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to share my screen and I'll show you where those accents are. Oh my God. There we go. Okay, so 1 and 2, and there's the big accent. That's an accent sign, a little go sign there, a little triangle, that's an accent sign, okay? So 1 and 2, and that's going to be a down bow because it's down, up, 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 down. See that? That's how you fit the accents into the tune. So if you're looking at that while I play it, so if you and also if you compare it to our pattern. So here it is in the tune. See how that works in there? Now look, I'll compare it to the pattern. Everybody kind of getting the correlation in there? That's how it works. Okay? So yeah, with the single bowed approach, those are all going to be down bows, and that's where the accents lie. Alright? Did anybody notice when I was doing the pattern or the tune there, I was sitting back so you can see my leg. Did you notice that what happens is, if you're a person that uses your foot, now, not everybody uses the foot. Some people just don't use it. And I always suggest, like, if you don't already use your foot, doesn't really help you that much. But if you do, then you'll find that that backbeat pattern is opposite of your foot. Your foot comes down on 1. Your arm comes down on 2. See that? drummer. See that? Boom, boom, tap, a doo, da, tat, da, doo, da, tat, da, doo, da, tat. And that's how I do the tune. Okay, that's how it works. So why don't we finish off by doing our scale pattern a couple of more times, and then I'll leave you guys to kind of study that, work that into your bowing, and we'll work on getting it in the tune next week, okay? So let's try that a few more times, that scale pattern. We'll do it in G. We might try a different key next time too. Always good to expand your horizons with different keys. Okay, here we go. A 1, 2, 3, and. Last time. All right, any questions about that, or comments, or concerns, or feelings in general? No? All that work, no feelings? Okay, well, as long as the pattern is manageable on your fingers, that's the main thing that I'm worried about, because if you have to wonder what's coming next, it's going to be really hard to work on that rhythm, you know, and if the bowing pattern makes sense. Is that good for everybody? That's going to work? That's good. Right on. Okay, cool. Well, that's enough torture for tonight. You got something there, Bev?
No, I just said thank you.
Oh.
Talking about feelings, maybe numb would be.
The right arm getting a little sore. It was a lot of. I worked you guys hard tonight for sure.
I got my first COVID shot yesterday. So
Oh, did ya?
More sore.
Oh man, how you feeling?
Yeah, good. Yeah, I was a little bagged initially, but yeah, other than that, I'm good.
Oh, that's good.
What did you get?
Moderna.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the good stuff. I got the AstraZeneca stuff.
Yeah, that'll still be good.
Oh
But
no, I
you
know.
can still get another one the next time because they have some additive effects.
Oh really? I get a different one next time?
You could. They're coming out with the research from England right now saying that if you switch them up, they each provide something different. So the Canadians are looking into it.
Oh.
So I'll have a blue antenna on the side and a green one.
That would be awesome. I'd be totally into that. Yeah, you know, it'd be a little less boring for people to have antenna. Anyway, so I'll leave you guys with that rhythm. Okay, we'll revisit it next time. And thanks for all your hard work there tonight. I saw those bows were going great. Okay.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
And thanks for your transfers too as well. I appreciate it.